Okay, so as we've discussed, we another way of increasing the dose would be to increase the energy of the beam. Okay, so let's have a look at changing the energy of the beam from 6 MV to 10 MV. So I want you to do the same as we've done before in terms of looking up some of the figures that are involved in it. So I'm going to right click on my field, I'm going to go to Properties, General, and I'm going to change this to 10 MV and click OK. I'm then going to go to Planning, Plan Normalization. If you come up with a warning, click OK, and we're going to change it to Dmax at 10 MV. Okay, so I'm going to click F5 now to calculate. And there's two things we're going to have a look at doing. So we're going to have a look at doing as we did before in terms of looking up the dose profile by clicking on there. So do the same as you did before. And then the other thing we need to have a look at is the dose volume histogram at 10 MV. So we're going to maximize this and click on dose statistics there, and again I want you to have a look at how much of the PTV is being covered by 95% of the isodose. So crosshairs, and we're going to find 95%. It's about there, and you can see that the difference is pretty substantial, isn't it? But what do you think the downside of using a higher energy is? So just have a think about that and hit pause. So the downside of using the higher energy is if we want to treat the tumour close to the skin surface, so less than Dmax of a 6 MV of a 10 MV beam. So if we wanted to treat some tumour up here by having the higher energy, it would still be in the build-up region, so underdosing it. So there's pros and cons of using both energies. They would also have a higher exit dose. So by having a higher exit dose, we're potentially going to be irradiating, or we are going to be irradiating more of the bladder, for example. So either 6 or 10 MV, we've seen there that actually there's a number of limitations to using a single field, and actually it's something that we only want to do in a very kind of simple setting where we're wanting to give a dose to a patient, and where we're not particularly overly concerned about conforming to that PTV with a minimum of 95% dose all the way around, as we would do if we were treating in a kind of a radical or curative intent. So we've had a look at a single field. I now want to have a look at us adding a parallel opposed field and seeing what that does to the dose distribution. Okay, so make a note of how much of the PTV is covered with the Dmax, with them prescribed to 10 MV, and then we're going to have a look at a pop. So let's do that now. So what we're going to do is create an additional field. So I'm going to right click on my field, and the first thing I'm going to do is align my field to a reference point, and I've created a point, a midpoint in the middle of the patient. So I click there, and that moves the isocenter there. So if we're doing an isocentric parallel opposed treatment, then the isocenter would be in the middle of the patient there, and that's probably the most common thing that you would do in your department. I believe some departments are still treating parallel opposed as an applied field, but I think most departments move in the direction of an isocentric treatment. So we've moved the isocenter there, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to do a new opposing field and click there. So I've now got a new field. I'm going to right click, properties, and I'm going to call that the ant field, and I'm going to change this back to 6 MV now. So we're going to treat this patient using 6MV. So I'm going to go right click on my post field, properties, I'm going to do 6MV, ant, properties, 6MV, click OK, and then now we need to tell the planning system that we're going, because it's an isocentric plan, we're going to prescribe to the isocenter. So planning, plan normalization, click OK to that warning, and we're going to prescribe to this mid-plane point here. Click OK, and then we're going to hit F5 to calculate this, and we're going to end up with our first dose distribution for our parallel opposed treatment.